We're here now, dog. So, boom, there we go. So we're here now. These are the boxes we got. Um, the WWE boxes. We'll be opening these cards. We'll also be doing Q&A. The questions will have already been culled from the have been culled from the community section. So, as we know, we're going to be getting into that right now. So, I'm a little nervous. I'm doing a live show. So, I did watch SmackDown. I'm going to do a proper SmackDown review some other time. But let's get into one of the first questions as I try to open this box. Let's see what we got here. As far as the question is concerned, let's see. I got to go back to the community section, look this thing up. All right, so D-Mac, he asked the question, a non-wrestling related question. I know that you have mentioned comics a good deal and politics, but what other non-wrestling interests do you have? Do you play sports, work out, have other hobbies? And if you do work out, what type of training do you do? I did it. I don't work out usually. I don't really have time. I'm usually sleeping or working on the channel or something like that. As you can see, I'm using an ink pen to open this damn thing. I have no time and no patience for dealing with these boxes. This is the 2021 box. I still have the hunter, the treasure hunt key too. But I have zero time to go work out, even though I probably should just create time for it. But what I did do is I took a couple of classes in college on not working out, but like kickboxing. I took kickboxing in college. I took taekwondo in college. So occasionally when I feel like I need to go work out, I do that. I do a little bit of kickboxing. I do a little bit of taekwondo. But usually my other interests involve either writing or it involves trying to create new things in terms of meals or, generally hunting vagina. That's another thing that I like to do quite often. I consider it a hobby. Even though it's probably not a good idea, but I also read a lot. Like I'm a really heavy reader. I read pretty much everything. I read magazines. I read newspapers. I try to get what I can done, but I definitely need to work out more. Wrestling is fantastic. Just popped up in the chat. Hey Mongo, what do you think about people trying to cancel Corey Graves for making a joke about Gigi Dolan's parents on tonight's SmackDown? To be quite honest, bro, considering I don't know that much about Gigi Dolan's parents, I don't know how personal that would be for her. I'm guessing it's probably people who know too much about Priscilla Kelly that's asking that question. I'm guessing you probably know a little too much. If you were, AJ Styles, this is nice. Oh, this is my last Topps box, by the way. As you can see, it's still Topps Finest 2021. So this is my last Topps box. We got AJ Styles, okay. Already got AJ. Lacey Evans, nice. Zach Gibson, all right, it's not too bad. Sonya Deville, not bad. That was out of my first pack. Let's see. Crunchy 9000. Why aren't people trying to cancel Corey Graves? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much every week that they're trying to look for different reasons to kill Corey Graves off. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what he did to upset people so much, but they truly do dislike that guy. Prince Noctis. He has, let's see, 4 questions. First question. I remember a year or so ago, I was listening to some old episodes of Stone Cold's podcast. Stone Cold said that he would still get over in modern PG WWE. Do you believe he would? And if so, how popular would he be compared to his Attitude Era popularity? I think what the big difference would be is Steve Austin didn't curse a lot. It was more the mentality, more the attitude, and more the freedom, the ability to do different stuff. In today's modern WWE, he'd be too pushed. Well, let's say Vince. He'd be too pushed towards comedy, even though he did a lot of comedy anyway. He would be push towards that, and uh, he would still be able to say ass and damn and all that kind of stuff. He would still be able to get away with that, but he would definitely get pushed more towards the comedy stuff, and that probably wouldn't help him at all. But I think with his attitude and everything, the intensity, if he was allowed to have that, he definitely would get over. All right, so here's we got Reggie. I ain't seen this son bitch in forever. Where is he at? Where they been hiding him? Hey Mongo, Alto Johnson, who has the best power bomb, Sid, Kevin Nash, or Vader? Well, that depends. Do you want your opponent to survive that power bomb? Because if you don't care whether the opponent survives or not, then probably Sid. You know, if you don't care if somebody gets mangled, then yeah, Sid probably has a better power bomb. Kevin Nash's power bomb is it's good. Because I never did hate the jackknife. It's just that he kind of tosses you up in the air. He doesn't really guide you to the ground. Vader's is just a kind of generic power bomb, but I actually like Vader's power bomb too. It says Wrestling is Fantastic says apparently her parents were abusive. Oh, well, that would suck. I wouldn't want anybody talking about that on TV. Maybe he didn't know that. I mean, you got to take into account maybe the guy didn't know. Top Dog, hey Mongo, do you think John Cena's rapper gimmick could work today? Not with some of the innuendo that he was using. Some of the language, probably not. But I think generally speaking, no. Matter of fact, I think there's been so many white rappers now that it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal anymore. I already got Apollo Crews here. That's nice. I got Paul Heyman as well. I'm pretty sure I got Paul Heyman already. This is Danny Burch. They're fired Danny Burch. He's been canned. But I think John Cena. I'm not so sure the rapper gimmick will work today. I'm not entirely sure it would work. I don't think it wouldn't. But I think some of the content that he was talking about probably would get clipped today. Randy Sam, you doing a Rampage review? Man, I'm not even watching Rampage. You know, I wanted to watch Rampage, and then I saw Sammy Guevara and was like, you know what? Pass. It's just something about it. I was just kind of like, pass. I'm just not interested. Let's go back to Prince Noctis. He said he has a second question. In a previous Q&A, you mentioned not really playing games anymore. But have you ever considered playing SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 GM mode and doing a series on it or doing something similar to it? I guess in general, it's interesting hearing your perspective on how you'd manage the WWE. If this is the right game that I remember, then I remember playing this game and it was like 20 years into the future. Like one of these SmackDown games, I don't know which one it was, you could just play on and on and on and on and on. You could just go on and on. And I was just kind of like, wow, I was stuck on that game forever. Because I thought the game like ended. I was just the game's ending. That game didn't end. I was like, what the hell's going on, brother? He had a third question. There was a TikTok video I saw with this guy asked people on the street, what do you think is weirder, dudes that watch WWE or dudes that watch anime? And the majority of the answers were that dudes that watch WWE are weirder. It's interesting because when I was a kid, it was the opposite. Do you think that the WWE can ever reach pop culture status again? And if so, how? It's all about celebrities with WWE. That's usually how they get into the mainstream, is usually through appropriate use of celebrities. Celebrity culture is absolutely toxic, though. It's horrible today. You know, it's not good. We deserve a better class of celebrity. Our celebrities in modern day world sucks ass. It's all Kardashians and bullshit rappers, fucking Kardashians. Just shit. All right, so we got Carmella. I hate celebrities anyway. We got Ricochet. I think Ricochet was on my list. Let's see. I'm doing too much stuff at one time. But nah, I'll check the box off later. Got Ricochet. It's not bad. We got Keith Lee. Keith Lee is definitely on my list. Somebody, where is that? Where's Keith Bearcat Lee? I'm surprised he's not showing up in here. And we got Roman Reigns, the big dog. I think this might be my first, not my first Roman Reigns card. It's one of my few Roman Reigns cards. But yeah, about people being WWE fans being weirder. I don't know, man. I think it's about the same when you really can break things down, man. It's all about nerds. You know, nerd culture is weird to the average person, dog. I'm not even gonna hold you up. Sometimes I don't even understand motherfuckers who watch wrestling. You know, like sometimes I sit back and I watch wrestling, or I'll be in a crowd. Like when I go to these GCW shows, and I go to them because they're right around the corner from my house, and I figure, you know, it's a cool little night out. You know, I can go right around the corner, go sit in a chair. You know, I just bought tickets to the GCW show for Detroit today. You know, I guess I got good seats this time. This time. And sometimes, man, I'm in those crowds, man. I'm like, I don't understand wrestling fans. And then by the end of it, by the middle of the show, I'm like, I get it. I get it again. But then GCW would do some weird shit out in like Jersey or something like that. And I'd be like, man, fuck wrestling. You know, I don't even want to watch this shit no more. And that's like half the time. I'm like, man, I don't want to watch this shit no more. But almost never. When it comes to WWE, man, everybody knows, like even the people who don't watch it anymore, even those people get it, you know, like they get it that it's silly, it's over the top. And as long as you don't take wrestling too seriously and you're not a complete and total dork, that whereas like, I think like the dork level is, do you wear merchandise? All right, you wear merchandise. You wear like a t-shirt. But is it your personality? You know? And you have to ask people that question. Sometimes, you know, being a wrestling fan becomes their whole personality, and that's absolute dog shit. See, Top Dog. Hey, Mongo, how big and mainstream was The Rock in the year 2000? Well, The Rock, that's really the year he started breaking through because Austin was gone for most of that year. So you had Rock started to break through big time in 2000. How mainstream was he? I'm not sure if that was one of the years he was on Saturday Night Live or not. I think 2001 was that when he started doing Scorpion King. I think he did doing 2001. But I think when he started doing movies, that's when he really kind of broke through. Jeff Samuel, sup, Mongo? Oh my God, AEW ruined Powerhouse Hobbs. He has a teacher gimmick. They're calling him the Book of Hobbs on Rampage. That's not what the gimmick is. The gimmick is supposed to be like biblical. It's not. He's not a. He's a teacher. Professor Hobbs. Instructor Hobbs. What the fuck? It's supposed to be biblical. I didn't see it, but he said it once before in a different promo. All right. Back to Prince Noctis. He said, if you had the opportunity to be God for a day, would you take it? If you did, what would you do with that power? If I was God for a day, what would I do with that power? Man, that's a good question. The weird thing is, man, I'm not sure if I would even want that kind of power, to be quite honest. Like sometimes you have to know yourself, and I know how. I'm not a person who abuses their authority or abuses their power because I've never been that kind of person. But that would be something where just wielding it once would be abusive. You know, like the first thing you do with God level powers would be abusive. You know, because you could affect so many different people. Oh, look, Dakota Kai was in the box. Good Lord. Good Lord. Oh, Candice LeRae. I'm pretty sure I got like 4 of these joints. They can't. I don't know how to keep selling me Candice LeRae. It's ridiculous. Keith Lee should be the librarian. He got the voice of the speech. Hell yeah. Can you imagine that son of a bitch in a classroom somewhere? Ladies and gentlemen, I am Professor Lee. You were like, what? And I teach chemistry 102. Please turn to page 245, where you will see cells commingling around the nucleus. Like, oh, get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? Ninja, if you were Nose Man, who would you sign? Well, I was just thinking about this earlier today because we were talking. I think somebody was talking about like who's the hottest free agent out there, and I was thinking of somebody who hasn't been signed. People are already talking about guys who've been fired already, like Bray Wyatt. It's like okay, sure, yeah, sure, you bring back Bray Wyatt, of course. But I'm looking at somebody who's never been on the roster before who could change the game. And that's where I kind of came up. I was going to talk about this on my SmackDown review, which I've already recorded, by the way. But Nick Aldis. I think he's going to end up being a free agent. So, and I definitely think if he does end up being a free agent, WWE should definitely make a play for him. See, Chris Williams, Mongo, what do people see in Daniel Garcia? He is bland as Mox wrestling. He needs a character or send him to Ring of Honor. Man, they need to send that motherfucker to Charlie's Chocolate Factory or something. He needs to go, he needs somewhere with some color. Like, he need like a dungeon. He need like a girlfriend or something. He needs something, man. Like, that dude is absolute cauliflower in the ring. He's awful. I can't stand that motherfucker. Top Dog, thoughts on Kiana James' sexy librarian gimmick with two women? I think she's supposed to be like a business mogul. That's what I think. I think she's supposed to be like some kind of business mogul or something like that. So free agents, if Nick Aldis is a free agent, I would sign him. That kid Casey Navarro, he from MLW, he's a free agent now. There's probably a couple of them I probably put some thought into it. So TN Pyro, should WWE make a play for Matt Cardona? I think Cardona's doing the best stuff that he's ever done outside of WWE, and I don't think he really needs to go back. At this point, I don't think he needs to. I swear, these fucking doubles. Oh, Nia Jax. I kind of miss Nia Jax, though. I don't tell anybody I said that, but I kind of miss Nia Jax. And I just got Danny Burch. So I'm getting boring people in these fucking boxes already. Oh, the Keith Lee voice. Did I even look at me? That shit is classic, man. I'll be coming up with stuff like out of nowhere, and I just started doing running gimmicks, and to make it fun for myself. That's all. But that shit great. And Keith Lee just sit and talk like that. Ninja has a second question. What match type would you bring back to the main roster? They haven't gotten rid of any, but I would bring Fight Pit to the main roster. I think they could probably need a Fight Pit. I think Riddle and Seth Rollins should have a Fight Pit for sure. Top Dog has another question. What was your favorite version of Shawn Michaels? I was a super fan of heel HBK right after he turned heel. The Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels. That's kind of when I really became a fan. You know, by 95, I was still kind of a fan. 96, I was wavering because I didn't get why Jose Lothario was there. Like, even though they told us why Jose Lothario was there, I still didn't get it. I was still like, he doesn't need fucking Jose Lothario. Like, what did he need him for? Shawn could cut his own promos. This guy's like 400 years old. A stiff wind is going to knock him over. But I realized at that point they were planting the seed for Sid, or supposed to be Vader, to attack him later on. Like, they had, like, that's how crazy Vince used to book. He planted the seed to take the belt off Shawn, you know, during the build up to Shawn getting the belt. What's this, Jonix? The Punjabi prison match. I think we've seen enough Punjabi prison matches. I think we've seen all the Punjabi prison matches we're ever going to see. Those matches were awful. I don't understand matches that happen in stages. You know, it's like, I've never seen a fight in my life that happened in stages. It doesn't make any sense. If WWE, Alto Johnson, 8 days ago, if WWE Legends return for season 2, who would you be interested for a documentary and rivalries? A documentary? Well, it would depend on who's available, because there was supposed to be a Dusty Rhodes one, and I want that. I want that Dusty Rhodes documentary I was promised, dog. And I think they should do one on Harley Race too. But those guys are kind of old, and WWE has just absolutely love avoiding history. But I think those two guys definitely should be there. Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair is a rivalries episode that I want to do. And I want them to do it, you know, especially while Ric Flair is still alive, you know. They should do one on Ricky Steamboat too. Steamboat is half Japanese, so, and he's like the biggest Asian wrestler in the history of the United States, pretty much, I think. You know, like, and he's only half Japanese. But I think Ricky Steamboat, it's probably time for another Ricky Steamboat documentary. Let's see, Finn Balor. My girl Shotzi. I wonder where she is. Is she hurt again? Isaiah Swerve Scott. He's he is actually not bad in AEW. And Karrion Kross. Oh, this is bald Karrion Kross. NXT Karrion Kross. This is dope. I got one more pack of the Topps cards. See, Kenneth Paul. Who are 5 wrestlers you think needs to be repackaged in WWE and AEW? And it could be a woman also, like new character gimmick. Well, Serena Deeb, definitely. She needs a. The Professor was a great idea. They just went nowhere with it. And then they jobbed her out, which sucks. But Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, that's 3. Because if you count Deeb, Penelope Ford is 4. She's hot. I wouldn't want her to just be like a generic wrestler though. Like that's whack, you know. Lee Moriarty, I just seen his name. Yeah, he sucks. They say, what do you think of Lee Moriarty, Chris Tucker gimmick? I never even heard of this. I hope that's not a thing. I hope you're joking. I hope that you're joking and there's no real Chris Tucker gimmick. That sounds like it's the shit. He don't have the charisma to be a Chris Tucker. He sucks. A horse with no name. How long have you been reviewing Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW? I feel like I should have been watching the likes of you and Millennial Smart instead of relying on cut culture and WrestleMania. I've only been doing it like about 2 years, I think. I used to do Impact and NWA back when I was unemployed. I used to just review everything, MLW. I did some OVW shows and stuff like that too. But then I had to streamline because my workload picked up. Somebody said, I hope Tony Khan booking Tony Storm like a champion. I hope he actually books Tony Storm competently. And from the looks of things, he's not. She's about to be on a tag team match for no fucking reason on Wednesday. It makes no sense. Why is she in a tag team? Why is she doing anything tag team? We need to get her over as a babyface. Penelope Ford needs to put a box on her head too. I mean, you know what? I don't see why not. Her husband sucks. She apparently can't do much better. Let's see. Ali Hankerson. What's your take on WWE in 2015 to 2018? Personally, some of my favorite television. I think 2016 was very good. 2016 was awesome. 2017, I think that's when they called Kevin Owens up. See, NXT and SmackDown was banging around that time. Raw was a slog, but SmackDown and NXT was banging during those years. I was really a big fan of NXT. NXT was really hot. 2015 to 2018, yes. NXT was banging. It was wild. Let's see. How would you book Dan Severn in the WWF? Darren Miles. I probably wouldn't. We're gonna be honest, man. You see, look at Dan Severn, dog. Like with that push broom mustache, he was like Ned Flanders in a sweaty shirt. Like, what can you do with him, really? Like outside of generic mixed martial arts stuff, what really can you do? Oi, look at me, friend Butch. Our Truth and his childhood hero, John Cena. The king, the boss, Santos Escobar. All right, so I cleaned out my Topps cards. That's great. Now I have to work on this box of Paninis. Panini Prisms, debut editions. Let's see. I remember the Brawl for All for boxing. It was the shits. Thoughts on the golden era, the Hulkamania era. Bro, I'm telling you, that Hulkamania shit was fun as fuck. I missed all of it because I didn't watch wrestling until I was 8. Like I started watching it the first time I ever seen a wrestling show. I was 6 years old. Royal Rumble 1990. But I probably didn't know what I was even watching until I was about 8. And at that point in time, Hogan's days were like behind him. But if you go back and you watch like Hogan in the 80s and watch some of that 80s stuff, it is very good. That's kind of peak WWF though. Alto John says, amazing why Tony Khan stripped CM Punk and the Elite of their titles while he couldn't do the same for Thunder Rosa. Because Thunder Rosa is claiming to be injured. And you know what? I'm starting to get on the train that I don't think Thunder Rosa is injured either. That shit with Conan is what got me thinking that she's fucking lying. And I think Conan now thinks she's lying too. I think she was going to do a job for Tony Storm, and all of a sudden she didn't want to do it anymore. And you know what? If she can get away with it, which she probably will, it's good on her. Because fuck Tony Khan. He's a piece of shit. Jeff Samuel, do you think Triple H can bring back Jim Johnston, or those days have been sailed? I think if you ask Jim Johnston, he'll definitely come back. For the right price, he'll probably come back. There's only 4 cards in a pack. He getting over. That interim shit is ass. It absolutely is. The interim shit is garbage. Yeah, Tony at the scrum kind of gave it away that most people think she's lying. To be quite honest, this could be a thing where she claimed she was injured and then had a private doctor send some kind of phony bullshit to Tony Khan. Because she told Conan it was her knee at first. And Conan bit the head off of Joe, who was their flunky on the show. Bit the fucking guy's head off because, you know, I talked to Thunder Rosa. She said it was her knee, but you listening to the dirt sheets. But the guy was fucking right the whole time because the dirt sheet wasn't doing nothing but transcribing what Thunder Rosa said on what the fuck is that? Busted Open Radio. So now everybody thinks she's fucking lying, and she probably is, you know. So, but she was all I can't walk and all that bullshit. Like, man, come on, man. Let's see. D-Mac is another question. I saw a comment on one of your videos that alluded to AEW criticism becoming more prevalent since Triple H took over. It aligns with a thought expressed on a podcast I listened to. What do you make of what appears to be more frequent criticism of AEW's flaws and reporting of AEW's backstage issues? And how long before the Triple H honeymoon period ends? I think that the AEW stuff, what's happening there is that there is becoming some people that they are not interested in. And it's becoming kind of glaring that the shows have been repetitive and that the shows have been kind of bad. And some of the issues that people were giving Tony Khan a pass on, they're not giving him a pass on that shit anymore. Like how he treats the women, some of the shit with the Young Bucks, how they're avoiding doing matches, that kind of shit. People are not giving them a pass on that anymore. And once it became it's not just Jim Cornette saying it, that kind of became a running thing. But I still think they're still mostly positive on AEW, and they're very just forgiving of the AEW products. Pause for a second. I gotta get some water. Who's better heel, Batista or Roman? Depending on what you want, man. Batista, Hollywood Dave is tremendous. You go watch some of that old Dave Batista stuff, and he says he don't even see people; he see dollar signs. That shit is that shit was tremendous, dog. Dave, tremendous. But I think the Tribal Chief got him beat. You know, I think the Tribal Chief got him beat. Russell Red, Sup Mongo, who are some people you like to see Hunter bring back? Can you give me 5 people on the list? I don't think he can bring back anybody that I would care about outside of people who are that's already in AEW. Like if you want to bring back like Daniel Bryan or something like that, there's not a lot of people out there that he could bring back that would make a fucking difference. You know, if we're being honest, the WWE did a great job of cutting a lot of useless talent over the last couple of years. And some of the people that I would personally be like, they should get a second chance. They're probably either flourishing somewhere else or they're languishing somewhere else. So the only person I can really give you is Malachi Black, and that's the guy I want to come back. Show my face? Absolutely not. No sirree. You're not gonna dox me out here in these streets. I got enough problems. Are we gonna get another more Mongo history videos? Sure. Yeah, I always stumble into doing things. I really should just create a schedule, but I never want to do that. Just never want to do that. What era was more mainstream? The Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, Golden Era, or the Attitude Era? Rock and wrestling. I'll say that. I think rock and wrestling was more mainstream because it got involved with MTV. What MTV was at its infancy. So it's like wrestling grew with MTV and it hit the same demographics. The Attitude Era, it just kind of punctured pop culture for a moment with the Mike Tyson stuff and was kind of rolling along like a fad. It was a fad both times though, but I think it was probably more mainstream in the golden era because of Hulk Hogan being one of the biggest merchandise movers. And you can say the same thing for Steve Austin, so it's probably like equal. But I think the strategies were crisper on the Hulkamania era, and it was more pure. In the Attitude Era, it was kind of grungy, and it was kind of like everybody was in on the joke, and it was the style was too over the top. Like there was naked Midian and shit in there. Like that shit was awful, bro. Somebody says, TN Pyro, how would you feel if Malachi Black becomes the leader of Judgment Day? I think that's the best usage of him. That is legit the best usage of him. If you're going to bring Malachi Black back and you bring him back as the leader of Judgment Day, that is absolutely the best way to use Malachi Black. Yeah, that's phenomenal. That's a great idea. I don't know who came up with that. Where did you hear that? Did you come up with that? If so, you should be booking the show. We could do that. We can have Malachi Black be the leader of Judgment Day. Last Outlaw, opinion on what Dave Meltzer said about Roman retaining because they want to make him the legend of this generation. You think that's true? Because we know Dave be tripping sometimes. I think that Roman retained over Drew McIntyre because they want to put over Cody stronger. I think Roman was already the legend of this generation. They had him beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. Like, what more do they need him to do? They keeping a title on them because they don't have anybody to take the belt off of them, and that's really all it boils down with. There is nobody else to take it off of them. The Triple H honeymoon will end as soon as he makes one creative mistake. He's gonna make a single creative mistake. Like if he has somebody that nobody likes win something, or when he does something that is so out of the box that's going to piss people off, that's when the honeymoon will be over. I think that the moment he does something that is, I think it's probably going to end up being some Gargano shit. I think that's going to end up being the end of him. The Don, who's a better babyface, Rey Mysterio or Daniel Bryan? Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is one of the greatest babyfaces of all time. He's undersized. I know Daniel Bryan is undersized too, but Rey is undersized. You could put Rey in peril, and he will absolutely get you some sympathy. Like Rey is like a babyface who literally had an I quit match and lost. He literally said I quit, and people love him still. They didn't kill him. Like you see what happened with Liv Morgan, right? Where she tapped out in one match, people were telling you tapped out, you tapped out. Rey literally had an I quit match that he lost because he said I quit, and people felt bad for him, because of the way they did it, and because of Rey's size, they could get away with it. He's one of the greatest baby faces of all time, and he can emote through the mask, which is great. Do you think AEW have too many titles? Yes, I think they should stop using other people's belts. Roman versus Drew was overbooked. It was absolutely overbooked. They simply did too much. Alto Johnson has 3 questions. 1, which Dragon Ball character you felt was misused throughout the series? Piccolo. Piccolo was the most misused character in all of Dragon Ball. Because he became a babysitter essentially at some point. Like, once he became like, when he reached his ultimate form and everything, which that shit don't mean nothing in Dragon Ball anymore. Everybody has 100 ultimate forms. But once he reached like this ultimate form and he couldn't beat Cell, which they keep cucking Piccolo by that in a way, where he'll reach a new level of power and then the villain would just cuck him by going up another level. They do it to Vegeta a lot too. But once he became ultimate and fused with Kami and all that kind of shit, there was nothing more for them to do with Piccolo. So he just kind of went and became a babysitter, and it sucked. 2, have you seen any of the Dragon Ball Z movies? Brother, I've seen all of them. All of them. The Tree of Might is my favorite one. I think that's movie 2. I think it's movie 2, I think. But the Tree of Might with Turles, the guy who looks just like Goku, that's my favorite Dragon Ball movie. The Broly movie was pretty good, but I always like Tree of Might because I always liked the older Dragon Ball where it was all more about martial arts and there was actually the fight scenes weren't just those guys yelling and powering up and then punching each other into the moon and shit like that. Where there was actual technique that was being used in the Dragon Ball series and stuff like that. I thoroughly enjoyed that shit. 3, what's your thoughts on Black Frieza? I heard about it, I haven't seen it yet. So when I see it, I'll have an opinion, but I haven't seen it yet. I didn't like Golden Frieza. I thought it was dumb. You know, it seemed like they're just creating new shit because they want to create more action figures and video games and shit. Yeah, the Buu Saga shitted on Piccolo hard. When do you see the Phantasma gang showing up? That's a good question. I think it'll probably be when there's Babyface tag team champions. The Buu Saga ruined the series. I mean, it just because the fusion shit happened, and then the fusion shit it wasn't even the reason they won. Like if the fusion thing would have been the reason that they beat Buu, then the saga would have been great because it'd have been like Gogeta or Vegito defeated Buu. They had to fuse in order to beat him. That would have been great. But Goku by himself beat Buu. And he had the help of all the people in the universe and all that shit. But ultimately, they threw so much shit at you in the Buu saga. The fusions and the Northern Kais and the other kind of Kais. And you're like, I can't keep track of all this shit. And then Gohan is sitting in a corner meditating. There was a witch inside of the sword. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, man, bro, I love Dragon Ball. But that Buu saga was just like, we're just going to throw everything at the wall. And I was like, half this shit, you could have saved it for some other time and did something else with it. What was the problem with GT? Literally every fucking thing. The fact that it existed is a problem. The fact that Goku was a kid was a problem. The fact that Trunks is a main character is a problem. Pan being a main character is a problem. Them going on trips throughout space was great. That was a great idea. The execution was shit. Baby was pretty cool. The Black Star Dragons were pretty cool. The Super Android 17 was shit. We're gonna bring back Frieza and all them, and we're gonna trap Goku in hell. That was a stupid fucking plan. That's retarded. Why would you do that? The way they treated Vegeta, the way they treated what's his face? Goten. Goten has not had any character development in any Dragon Ball series. They refuse. Like at least Trunks has future Trunks, and he got GT Trunks. Goten ain't got shit. You know, like Goten is just the most boring, pointless fucking character in all of Dragon Ball, and he doesn't need to be. You know, he does not need to be. You know, there's ways of making Goten interesting. They rather he be Trunks' sidekick. Super Saiyan 4 is good. Yeah, it's the best thing about GT. Top Dog, thoughts on John Cena late 06, 07 title reign. Is that the reign of doom where he's just like on that, he had the belt forever? John Cena was not good in 06, really. You know, like he wasn't really good at all, man. What's up, WG Phil? Let's go to Alto Johnson. Will we be expecting Triple H to sign indie wrestlers now that he's taken over WWE? Hell yeah, he's gonna sign some indie wrestlers, man. That's what he wanted to do in the first place. And plus, you need to have some indie wrestlers in order to fill out your roster as you bring in people like this motherfucker, Gable Stevenson. I can't believe he has a card. He hasn't shown up on TV yet. But I guess they're getting the most out of this this deal that they got on. The great Khali. Good Lord. Why would I want this? Why would you think I would want this? It's Panini. I don't want this. What is this? It's Trish Stratus. This is awesome. I don't think I have a Trish Stratus card. This is dope. Next level. The big dog. That's not bad. 4 cards in a pack is some bullshit though. So I might not buy any more Paninis for a while. They getting over on me, dog. 4 in a pack, that's some bullshit. I gotta go through all this to open the pack too. Come on, brother. Help your guy out. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, there we go. I'm doing the job to these goddamn packages. Do you think Raw need a champion? Clearly they need a champion, but I think they'll be okay without the belt for a while. Alto Johnson, if he signs indie wrestlers, will they be in NXT for random months like Kevin Owens, or the AJ Styles approach where they just debut on the main roster anyway? I think it depends on their stature, and if Triple H thinks that, I think if they come from AEW, he's going to put them right on TV. If they come directly from like Impact, he may put them right on TV. If they have a certain level of experience, he's going to put them right on TV. But I definitely think he's going to sign some indie wrestlers. But he's going to want to send some of them to NXT first, because they're going to call up all the indie wrestlers that's down there already. Eventually, they're going to need to replenish NXT with indie wrestlers. Gable Stevenson was finishing college. He also had another year of eligibility for the NCAA, so he was doing that. That's why he hasn't come up yet. I know that Dave Meltzer has his own opinions of Gable Stevenson, but to be quite honest, his collegiate career really just ended, not too long ago. He says, Special J, can we get some Eddie Kingston advice to CM Punk on throwing punches without getting hurt? CM Punk needs some meat on his bones. I mean, look at your hands. Look at your hands. They all flabby and you like you throw a punch in your life. CM Punk needs to learn how to throw a punch. Is it true Macho Man wanted to feud with and put over Shawn Michaels in the 90s? Yes. Yeah, it is true. I saw an interview where he talked about it. And what's the name? Lenny talked about it. They actually did a couple of matches. They did a match in Europe for the WWF title. It was when Randy was the champion. And it's a phenomenal match, just Shawn and Macho Man. And Vince said no, Macho Man was too old, even though he wasn't really all that old. Eddie Kingston, hero for chicken titty. Yeah, man, like Eddie Kingston, man, he's a hilarious dude. Like I watched the tail end of that whole thing with Tomohiro Ishii as I was getting off work and about to start all out. And I was just watching that and I was just thinking to myself, like, why are they doing any of this shit? Like, this is the pre-show. Why is any of this happening at all? Like, these dudes are smacking each other. For starters, they're really leaning into Eddie Kingston being old. So now he's got this gnarly goatee. We look like Master Roshi, a fat mechanic Master Roshi at that. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. I'm greatly disturbed by how they presented Eddie Kingston in the modern world. It sucks. Let's see what we got here. Why you sound like that rapper who rapped for Garcia? Tony gave Garcia WrestleMania like entrance, like he a draw. Who the fuck was that guy? Oh, it was West Side Gun. I guess. Well, I think West Side Gun is from Buffalo. That's probably why he did that. Cooler's Revenge and The Return was decent to me. The Return of Cooler, with the Meta Cooler, it was okay. It was okay. I didn't like how he treated Vegeta in that movie. I wasn't feeling that. But I liked the movie because I like pretty much all the Dragon Ball movies except I didn't like Brio Broly. That one sucked. But I definitely think Cooler's Revenge is the superior film for sure. And the fact that they didn't bring Cooler into the canon makes I don't know why you wouldn't do that. But it is what it is. Thoughts about Dragon Ball Heroes? It's too confusing. I couldn't keep up. It was just too much going on, man. Like I tried watching like the anime version of that shit. I couldn't keep up with what was going on. It just seemed like they was just slamming shit together, and I just like, wow, it feels like fan fiction. Dragon Ball Heroes feels like fan fiction. Let's see. We got the new Alexa Bliss. Super Broly is top tier. The movie. That's what you were talking about, T and Pyro. Drew McIntyre. Sup, Mongo? It's Jacob Jameson. Mike Tyson meet Punk after the fight with the Elite, but then Henry heard the fight backstage with Paul White impression. You could. Okay, so here's the the Broly movie for Dragon Ball Super. I like the original one. I think they actually did more in the Super movie, but they destroyed the canon because they had Goku, know his parents. At least remember his parents. Because in the new Broly movie, the new canon, for starters, Broly is dark skinned, which is cool. He looks more like a barbarian, which I think works. I think the aesthetic of that Broly works. I think some of the backstory of him works, but the Goku parts don't work because Goku was too old. The fact they had Goku's mom in it, I don't have a problem with that part. That part works, but Broly being so sympathetic in the Super movie, I think kills some of the mystique. And I think people wanted him to be like this ruthless, the Hulk version of the Saiyans. And he's still that. And I think he's actually even more of that with the Super movies. I think he's even more of that. So I think Toriyama, in trying to fix Broly, I think he added a level of depth to the character and actually made him somebody that people could get along with. Still Paragus was a piece of shit, so that was cool. Eddie Kingston versus Steiner promo battles. Oh God, could you imagine Scott Steiner calling him fat 100 times to his face? Like he probably would have called him fat so much, Eddie Kingston would have had to shoot him. Like if skinny ass Sammy Guevara called him fat and he flew off the handle, what is he gonna do to Scott Steiner? Scott Steiner would have called him all kind of names. That shit would have been hilarious. Fusion Reborn or BoJack Unbound. I'll probably go with BoJack because the idea of a villain that's so powerful he was locked away for a long time. I like that idea. Fusion Reborn, I think that was Janemba. And he had like his own universe where he could do whatever he wanted. And plus, he got killed in the most anticlimactic way possible, which is, Fusion. I'm gonna go with BoJack, maybe because it for starters it was Gohan. It's a Gohan story, so I like Gohan stories. The NWO Kevin. They gave me 2 fucking Drew McIntyres in the same pack, bro. How you gonna do me like this? How you gonna treat me like that? Do you think we'll ever see a third wrestling boom period? I think it's inevitable. I think we will see a third wrestling boom period. I think it's going to be with the changing of technology, though. When technology changes again, the streaming wars kick off. You may see a third wrestling boom because you're probably going to see more money dumped into these companies than ever before, and you might actually see some of these companies get bought out. And I'm dreading the day, but I'm pretty sure it's coming, where WWE is going to get bought by some bigger company like DAZN or Amazon or some shit, and it's not going to be what we wanted it to be, but it might end up being popular for a short time. See, Scott will give Eddie the Steiner recliner, but and then slap Steiner like he did Sammy. He'll never do that. Even if he was if he was in a wheelchair, he wouldn't slap Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner's a nut. Like he's absolutely crazy. I would have liked to be in the mind of Samoa Joe when he's being called fat so many times by Scott Steiner. I could just imagine. Like you're sitting here back listening to this guy, and he's just calling you just fat, and he's going off on this fucking guy. Shit's tremendous, bro. My favorite Dragon Ball movie is The History of Trunks. Yeah, that one's fantastic. Yeah, that one's fantastic. That was pretty fucking good. What's your favorite Jamie Foxx movie? Assuming that I watch Jamie Foxx movies, shit. What's the one with the guy from 300? he was escaping prison and all that shit. That's the one. I like that one. I don't really like Jamie Foxx though. Ever since he did Wanda, I was not a fan. I'm always leery of that kind of. I don't care if people calling me a homophobe. That Wanda shit, always he was doing that shit too well. That shit made me highly uncomfortable. Everything with Jamie Foxx makes me uncomfortable. See, Synonymous TV has 5 questions. 1, what would you say are the pros and cons of Triple H creative versus for WWE versus Vince McMahon? The pros that he likes wrestling, so he puts more wrestling on the wrestling show, which helps. The cons is that he doesn't. His vision of anybody can be a star gives us Johnny Gargano and Dakota Kai, 2 people who I think can absolutely go sweep the street. I have no fucks about them. They suck. Say, what are your talents? I'm a good writer. I think I'm apparently I'm good at doing impressions. I tend to be pretty okay on the square when it comes to making jokes and stuff. I relate to people really well, So I have some talent, but you like real talent. Like I can't juggle or no shit like that. So I don't know. I can't sing. But so I'm a pretty good writer and I'm pretty witty. I've always been pushed more towards performing arts, even though I'm not really a performer. But when I was doing the frat shit and we was, you do steps, I was always sort of the center of attention, being the big dude who did steps. But then I was up there sweating, and that wasn't a good time. That wasn't a good time. Any Given Sunday, I did see that movie. I saw Any Given Sunday. I wouldn't. I haven't seen it in a long time though. What would be the booking decision from Triple H that might make you quit watching WWE? Gargano versus Ciampa for the unified title? No, it would be something like Gargano beating Roman Reigns. Like that would legit make me flip out. I would fucking nut up. I would act up if he did some shit like that. There's Mike Epps or Chris Rock. Stand up or in what way? Because Chris Rock is definitely funnier. But I don't like Chris Rock. I like Everybody Hates Chris though. I do. I love that show. Brock Lesnar last match needs to be against Gunther. That's assuming Brock even wants to do that, and I don't think he's going to put his body through that. I just don't think he'll do it. I think Brock looked at that match with Sheamus and said, "You dudes are fucking stupid. What are you doing? You could probably make a lot of money without doing any of that shit." And plus, I think if Brock gets chopped probably too many times, he'll probably go haywire and short circuit and probably try to rip Gunther's fucking head off. It'd be worth watching though, but I don't think Brock would do it to himself. Synonymous TV, are there any talents you wish you had? Yes, I wish I could play instruments. Like I wish I could play. I tried to play. I like telling fail stories because it's like more relatable. But when I was a kid, I had the opportunity to do music in school, and I wanted to play the saxophone. It was random. Like I didn't really want to play the saxophone, but it was like the only thing that was available that I thought was kind of cool because I had seen it in like The Simpsons or something. So I was like, okay, saxophone. I didn't get anywhere with that fucking thing, but I wish I could play the guitar. It's one of those things that maybe I'll pick it up in my older age when I get older. Like, but we'll get about that. What about Krillin? I like Krillin. I like the character development for Krillin, like him being a police officer. That's not bad, I think they struggle with Krillin as a character. I think the in Dragon Ball Z, when you had, and all of this stuff is non-canon, him and Marin, oh, that shit was tremendous. That shit was very good. And they took it out of the canon. It's not even canon. But him being smitten with Marin, his first girlfriend, her being a bit of a ditz, but she truly loved him. And he had low self-esteem and he couldn't accept it. And he swims to the bottom of the sea to get this jewel for her. And, he ends up coming out with the jewel only to lose her in the end anyway. That's absolutely phenomenal storytelling. And it sets up perfectly his relationship to Android 17. But it's not canon, so nobody ever remembers it or talks about it. But Krillin's character was informed so much through those non-canon episodes of Z. That's why I don't like Dragon Ball Kai and all that shit that cut out all the filler. The filler is the fun shit. The filler is like Goku and Piccolo driving. That's the stuff that people relate to. This average, everyday, everybody shit. And it adds up to telling you how the characters relate to each other in Dragon Ball Z. Like Piccolo is a member of the family. So when Goku has to go get a license, Piccolo's ass got to go too. You know, like you sit over here and eat, motherfucker. You could take take me to the supermarket. What's your manga? What's your top 5 favorite hip hop albums? East 99 Eternal by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Illmatic by Nas. Stillmatic by Nas. Enter the 36 Chambers by the Wu-Tang Clan. And I want to say Tribe Called Quest Low End Theory. So I'm just going to say that. Tribe Called Quest Low End Theory. I could also say Adrenaline Rush by Twista is another one. It took me a while to get on Twista, but Adrenaline Rush, America's Most Wanted by Ice Cube. I saw somebody today say Bigger and Deffer by LL Cool J. That's tremendous. That's a tremendous album. Rakim and Eric B, their whole discography, but Paid in Full specifically, just tremendous. The baseball game in Super was a good filler. Yes, that's the kind of stuff that you need. They had a baseball episode in Dragon Ball Z too, where Gohan had to learn baseball when he goes to high school. Like that shit is fun. It's showing you how Gohan, who was socially awkward, he had no friends growing up. You know, so you got to see him go to this school, and yes, they did drape him in the goofy super Great Saiyan Man stuff. But I loved Great Saiyan Man. I'm one of the few people who thought that shit was funny. It was weird because it's something that somebody like Gohan would be into. It gives him an alter ego. It makes him relatable, especially like since he has so many powers and everything. It's like, what good could he do in the world? He could do a lot of good. It took him out of the country and put him into the city. And it felt like the first fucking time something different was being done with Dragon Ball when they put him into the city and they took him out of the country. Wrestling is fantastic. When you were younger, did you ever want to become a wrestler or a commentator or have some involvement in wrestling? Oh, yes, absolutely. I definitely wanted to be a wrestler. I could not find anywhere to learn how to wrestle, though. I didn't go to any school who had a wrestling team. My YMCA had boxing. It didn't have wrestling, so I did end up taking some boxing. But yeah, I wanted to be a wrestler. Top dog, do you think Scarlett Bordeaux and Mandy Rose could be this generation Sable and Trish? They're not going to, I don't know. It depends on how they choose to use Scarlett. I'm not sure if they actually want to use Scarlett in that way, though. Do you think Grayson Waller, this is from Top Dog, would be a good main event heel? Yes. In time. He has to fill out, though. Like, he's still too skinny right now. He's very skinny. And he's still kind of green, too. Let's see. Synonymous TV has a fourth question. What's your thoughts on parasocial relationships, especially when it comes to fans and wrestlers? It's weird. I understand them, because I know that there's a lot of men, especially, who are lonely, and therefore they make these relationships. And that's how OnlyFans works, where these women build up the relationship that you're not paying for sex or you're not paying for the pictures. You're paying for the attention, the digital hugs and hi guys, and to feel needed and all that kind of stuff. That shit is so fucking weird, but I understand it. Because there's a lot of lonely ass dudes out here, man. And I get it. See, number 5. When you would say this whole cancel culture thing started? Well, depends on when you want to say it started, because in certain places it started earlier. Like Canada has no freedom of speech. So they've always had cancel culture. You know, they could take away speech whenever they feel like it, so they can do whatever they want. And I remember doing a paper on that. There was never really a such thing as freedom of speech in Canada. In the United States, we've always had blasphemy laws, which is the closest thing to cancel culture that we had. The book, The Scarlet Letter, was similar. to what we would call modern day cancel culture, because in that story, a young woman has an affair with on her husband and is excommunicated from her society. And that's very similar to today, where you have wrongthink and you get excommunicated from Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Now, you're not kicked out of the entire society, but you're kicked out of a part of the society. And that's usually where it is. I think that's where it begins and ends, is with blasphemy laws, you know? And that's the problem with creating these sacred cows. Like, blasphemy laws are, you can't offend God. And we've gone from you can't offend God to you can't offend your neighbor to you can't offend, some random guy on the street. You can't even offend people who don't even really exist. You can't offend fictional people, for Christ's sake. So it's very weird. Who's a better character, Frieza or Trunks? Uh, Trunks, Trunks, future Trunks especially. I think we've seen so many different versions of Trunks that is very cool. Like Kid Trunks is a complete brat. He's a spoiled kid who grew up with so much money, and he's kind of cocky. He's a shit stirrer too. And you got Future Trunks, who is basically a fucking superhero, but he's also a failure. He's guilt ridden because he's the last Saiyan living in his timeline. And I think that's just tremendous. Frieza is just static evil, like he's just evil, and there's no real reason for it, which is the best kind of evil, to be quite honest. He's evil for evil's sake, which is tremendous. Yeah, I'm gonna miss Pat McAfee for sure. Yeah, he's favorite shooter interview. Probably, I don't know, because I didn't watch a lot of shooter interviews, but definitely something that involves Kevin Nash, because I think he did the best shooter interviews. Absolutely. I always say the top dogs. I always say the 1950s were peak of the United States. Would you agree? Uh, no. I probably wouldn't agree that it was the peak. I think culturally, the 1950s was rough, because it's hard to talk about that era without talking about, the racism and all that kind of shit. But I think that in general societies where children grew up with both of their parents, yes, that was probably for the best. That was definitely the best. When there wasn't so much sex and violence on TV, yeah, you played sports. You had expectations put upon you. You didn't hate the country that you lived in. I don't know. It's like hating the house that you're sitting in. You want to set your house on fire. It's like if you want to hate your country from the distance, like you move to Canada and then say, "Oh, I moved to Canada because I hate the United States." That makes sense. But if you live in the motherfucking country, I wouldn't want to burn it to the ground. That doesn't make much sense to me. The WG feel, how will WWE deal with talent that will get attacked with cancel culture? A lot of the new talent coming will face cancel culture, unfortunately. I think Triple H looking at everything, because remember, he's already had to deal with this. There were people in NXT UK who they said were pedos or sexually assaulting girls. They just fired them, which is the right thing to do with something that extreme. They tried with Nikita Lyons in NXT. They found that she liked guns and Trump, and they were like, so what? Same thing with Karrion Kross. They're like, so what? They let the Black Lives Matter shit go. WWE seems to be very tolerant because they're all about business first, but sometimes they're too tolerant. And I've sit on the fence about the whole Jimmy Snuka shit. Like, it's like, do we really need Jimmy Snuka to stay around? But he was never convicted of anything. But it's just kind of how it is. But I don't think that they're going to buckle. They have buckled because they fired the one kid from MSK over some cancel culture shit. But I think that they'll try to resist it as much as they possibly can. If it's just a rumor, they'll probably resist it. If there's any evidence, they'll probably take action. Mitch Colburn, who do you think should have gotten a real shot and never did? Unfortunately, Aleister Black, Miro. I think Rusev never really got a shot in WWE. he got super over, and there was literally no excuse. He was a homegrown guy. They built him up. Yes, Rusev Day was a little too comedic, but he was a solid worker. I think maybe you don't give him the belt, but you keep him in the conversation. You keep him around. And especially since, Roman needed opponents. I don't understand why they got rid of him and why they decided to push him down. Russell Red, Mongo, how do you feel about William Regal's son, Charlie Dempsey? Do you see a future NXT UK champion in him? Well, since that belt doesn't exist anymore, no, I don't. That belt is gone. But I think Charlie Dempsey, he's a talented young man. He's very talented. The problem I have with him is that, his personality. He's going to have to learn from his daddy that personality is key. This is Malik Blade from NXT. Okay, so there's some NXT people in here. The best in the world. I hated that. I hated that so much. That was so fucking annoying. Omas. If Future Trunks, Future Gohan know about hyperbolic time chamber, I'm pretty sure they did know, but you can only spend a certain amount of time in there. That was before they changed the rules. They changed the rules where you could just basically go in there and live. But the hyperbolic time chamber, the original idea was that they couldn't be in there for a super long amount of time. This is awesome. I love this Ray. This is dope. But that was great. What would you say is the last great decade? For a lot of people, they say the 90s, but I think it's the 80s, the last great decade. I definitely think it's the 90s. The 90s was crazy. We had a president fucking intern, and it wasn't called rape or anything stupid like that. Like he just fucked his interns. Like we was doing wild shit in the 90s, man. That was really the skyrocketing of gangster rap, where something like freedom of speech was really challenged. And I wanted to do a video on Jason Whitlock, when he was talking about rap music. Like I still, even though I don't listen to rap music no more, I still feel like I need to defend it because I loved it so much, especially as a kid. But I understand all of these OGs, what they say about how rap music is the shit. It says, Sup Mongo, I saw on WWE Twitter LA Knight is coming back. Oh, okay. I'm interested in that. What is he going to do, though? Was Garlic Jr. Saga filler? Yes, it was. Mitch Colburn, favorite wrestling card set. I was a big fan of the card sets that were in the magazine. The cards that were in the magazines were absolutely tremendous. I love those joints. Those joints ruled. Darian Miles, we say there's a man crisis. Yes, absolutely. There was a book called The Boy Crisis. This guy got fired recently. But yeah, they are over medicating young boys. There's an article, you could probably look it up, about ADHD medications and how they're giving them so much to boys because they want them to be like, I hate to put it this way, they want them to be docile and to sit still and all that kind of shit. And boys are meant to run around and be active. They also learn differently than girls. So they're basically in destroying gender roles or whatever. They're basically destroying little boys. And it's turning us to basically weak, soppy men. And it's awful. See, the Don, better villain, Lex Luthor or the Green Goblin. Well, I'm more of a Marvel guy, so I'll probably say Green Goblin. Lex Luthor, I like his motivation though, because Superman is more of a godlike character, and I know that's kind of cliche to say, but he is basically a godlike character, and man sometimes resents God for not being able to be God, or they will turn others against God because God is imperfect, or or their vision of God is imperfect, because what they think is perfect is based off of their own personal beliefs or their own personal vision or view of things, and they see God as being imperfect. So that's yeah, I could see why Lex Luthor would be a better villain in terms of motivation. But I personally just a Marvel guy, so I'm gonna go with Green Goblin. Last Outlaw. You ever feel like a lot of new wrestlers keep trying to be edgy and heavy metal, wear a lot of black amidst the colorful personalities, and when characters used to pop off the screen? I agree. I think that's the best thing is when each character is unique and they stand out. That was the thing about John Cena that worked. Cena wasn't afraid of colors. Cena was not he was not afraid of colors. He was not afraid to be loud. He was not afraid to jump off the screen. He was a cartoon character, and he knew that. Just like Hulk Hogan knew it, just like the Ultimate Warrior and Randy Savage knew it. But what you're looking at is the Attitude Era, where all of that color shit got soaked out, and everybody was wearing black. And even The Rock, black boots, black trunks. That's it. Now motherfuckers don't even wear elbow pads anymore. This shit's stupid. Andres, are there any cartoon or childhood TV shows of yours that you still watch today? If so, which ones? I will still like the G.I. Joe cartoon is running forever on a YouTube channel. Sometimes I'll pop over and watch an episode of G.I. Joe. I, of course, still watch wrestling. Still watch some anime from my childhood. We're sitting here talking about Dragon Ball. I have a Thundercats box set. I have a He-Man box set. Sometimes I just watched an episode of the Batman animated series, the Heart of Ice episode. Just watched that the other day because I hadn't seen it in a long time. So I still watch some of that stuff. The X-Men, 90s X-Men animated series. I love that animated. God, that was a definitive X-Men for me. I wasn't reading the comics either, so I thought like that was great. Little did I know that my favorite character was Gambit, and he's barely in the fucking comics. He's barely there. He's not a central character. Mitch Colburn, which wrestlers, past or present, would you say got screwed over and deserved more? I think would it deserve more? That's going to be hard to quantify because some guys got more than they deserved, and other guys, it might have just been timing. Like Val Venus, he's a guy that I always wondered why he wasn't able to shake being Val Venus and able to go on and do something else. Like, yeah, it was a crap gimmick, but it got him over. It got him super over. And it was time to transition him to something else. And instead, they just gave him that horrible right to censor shit. And it took him completely off the beaten path, and it was over. It was over for him at that point. All right, I got to go back up to these questions. Let's see. Do you want to see Roman turn face from Wrestling is Fanatic? No, I don't want to see Roman turn face. Nobody does. Last Outlaw. You ever feel like a lot of new wrestlers? Oh, yeah, we went through that. Thoughts on trades, and do you hate how people tell everyone to go to college instead of trades? I wish I had gone to trade school, and I kind of did, because I went to Job Corps before I went to college, and I learned a trade, and I learned how to do various things around the house: plumbing, lay tile, fix drywall. The issue is that because a lot of those trades are unionized, I needed to have a certain level of experience in order to get those jobs. But I couldn't get the job because I didn't have the experience. But I couldn't get the experience, get the experience to get the job. So I went to this free trade school, learned a trade, and basically sat around for months applying to various jobs because I couldn't get one because of the fucking unions. And because the trade paid so much that they wanted somebody who had a significant amount of time in doing it. Plus, you're working on people's houses. You can't go in there and be fucking up. And I was a bookworm. I wasn't really a hands-on, hey, let me come fix your drywall. Like, I could paint, but that was about it. And And so that fucked me up. But yeah, people should definitely look into doing trades and not going to college. It's just not everything isn't for everybody. And I think that's one of the things that I've been trying to tell people all the time is not everything is for everybody, though. You know, some people are better off going to trade school. Some people are better off going to college. And we all are better off letting people make their own decisions. You know, why would you want to force people to do things they're not good at or do things they don't want to do? Mitch Colburn, is it just me or is 24/7 division not a bad idea on AP? I'm guessing you mean paper. It's a bad idea because nobody who has any sort of credence wants to be involved with it. So it's who want like do Roman Reigns want to be involved in 24/7 division? No. So it's not a good idea. It's good for comedy. Triple H quietly dropped that thing. Like he hasn't said anything about it. I think they're mostly using it for celebrities and stuff like that. Like but he's not going to put any effort into it. And I think Vince probably dictated too much time to it, to be quite honest. Who do you think will dethrone? WG Phil says, who do you think will dethrone Braun Breaker? I think Carmelo Hayes could take his title. I think it's probably going to be Tony D'Angelo. I said that when I first saw Tony D'Angelo and how super over he was. I said if they keep him on the right track, him and Braun could have a really great feud. And I still believe that. And since it hasn't happened yet, it's telling me that they're probably going to wait. You know, because I definitely think that that's the next level for Tony D'Angelo. He's already the Don of NXT, right? Now he's going to be the champion. I think it's only a matter of time. Your favorite Dark Side of the Ring? I guess we mean my favorite Dark Side of the Ring from Kervin Abreu. I like the Pillman episode. I think the Pillman episode was very good. The Benoit episode was very good. I like that one too. The Roberts family, the Smith family. Jake Roberts, Sam Houston, Baby Doll, all of them. I thought that episode was very good because they told a story I didn't know. Yeah, I like that. Dark Side of the Ring is kind of cringe though. The Don, Sammy Guevara is cringe. I think Tony Khan should do a segment where Sammy dunks Ty. He's not gonna do that. Especially since they're married now, so he's definitely not going to do that. Wrestling is fantastic. Do you realistically see a guy like Johnny Gargano beating Roman Reigns? I'm pretty sure Triple H will probably let it happen and then claim that it's realistic in some way and piss everybody off, or they'll try to do it in some kind of realistic way. But I don't think Vince would have ever let it happen. I don't think Vince would have ever let it happen. That's something I'm just. That shit giving me an aneurysm thinking about it. Yeah, John Cena was always goofy though. once they went pure PG, he became a goofball. Yeah, he's a 100% goofball. Let's see, Park and Hunt. What wrestlers would you like Triple H to bring back in? I think we've already been through that. Right now, Aleister Black, if he's available, that's it. You know, Bray Wyatt. I like Bray Wyatt, but I'm tired of talking about Bray Wyatt. I really am. 2, how would you rank the wrestlers that Triple H brought in so far? He brought in Cross, which is very good. He brought in Strowman, which was welcome. I like Cross and Strowman. Those are good deals. Dakota Kai. Johnny Gargano. I could do without him, if we're being honest. I really don't rate too many of the people that he brought in, you know. I'm just kind of looking at him like I don't really care. 3, who do you think is going to get released from WWE? I think when it's time to start releasing talent, a lot of the people that Triple H aren't currently using, Reggie, Lacey Evans, Dana Brooke, Tamina, all of those types of people. I think all of them are going to end up getting gone. And it's unfortunate too, because Ezekiel or Elias or whatever, You know, I think a lot of those guys, man, that Vince really used a lot. And then they changed into the guard. Those people just disappeared. Goldberg. I didn't know who this was. That's nice. I like that. Jerry the King Lawler. This is pretty dope. This one, the King wrestled for the title, isn't it? Would you say, Darren Miles, would you say John Cena's best matches was with JBL, Shawn Michaels, and Batista and Edge? I think he had his best matches with. Well, it's hard to have bad matches with Shawn Michaels. It's hard to have bad matches with Edge. You have to work pretty hard to suck with Edge. But I think Cena had good chemistry with Kurt Angle. I think he had tremendous chemistry with Kurt Angle. Rampage Brown from NXT UK. Rhea Ripley. Nice. Nice. It says, I hope Paul split up teams in the draft, but he probably won't. I don't see why. I think it's inevitable for the Street Profits. You know, I think the Street Profits are basically on their last legs, and that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Back to Park and Hunt. Which superhero has your favorite rogues gallery? It'd be easy to say Batman and just call it a day, because Batman has a bunch of cool villains. Spider-Man does too. But I like the Fantastic Four. I like their rogues gallery. I like Doctor Doom. You know, Namor is a nuisance. He's a rogue to the Fantastic Four, sure. Galactus, for Christ's sake. The Kree, the Skrulls, they have bumped heads with the Inhumans. So I like the Fantastic Four's rogue gallery. But I think Batman just has an iconic rogues gallery where, you know, it's top notch in the biz, and they add in more characters to it every year that seem to be pretty good. But they haven't added anybody that's real classic lately. What's your favorite Braun Breaker attire so far? All that shit looks the same to me, man. It's just all a singlet. It's just different colors. Darren Miles, what are your thoughts on Black Lives Matter finessing people out of money? It should be expected. I expected it. I think there's a whole lot of people out there who are surprised that, you know, motherfuckers are using, you know, their money to fund their lifestyle, and you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be surprised. What are you surprised about? This guy is running a nonprofit, and all of a sudden he started buying nice houses and shit. Where's the money coming from, bro? Oh, he wrote a book. Oh, really? Did anybody bother to read it? Can you tell me what was on page 1 of that fucking book? Nobody reads these fucking books. Of course they were robbing people. That's all they do. Know how to rob motherfuckers, man. Mitch Colburn. What's up with nobody trying to build solid baby faces? I think they don't know what a baby face is. I think that there's a problem in our society with good guys. You know, like sometimes people think that if you're a good guy, you're a chump. You're an idiot. You're a rube. How dare you? How dare you be a good guy? Like, that always brings me back to that Bailey episode, that Bailey thing where she had that match with Alexa Bliss, and Vince gave her the idea not to use the weapon because that's not what Bailey would do. You know, Bailey doesn't need weapons, and Bailey as a character, she didn't really get it. You know, but I got it. I understood it. You know, sometimes heroes show a lot of restraint. How about this guy? Is he dead? Is Odyssey Jones dead? I don't know it. I already got Zach Gibson. I got him out of the other box. Montez Ford. But they don't get it. Oh, got Ray with the big gold. Hell yeah. I love me some Ray. I'm gonna save that last box. Maybe to do another live stream. I need to have something on the screen. But yeah, you know, it sucks, you know, that they don't want to use these. They don't want to individualize their baby faces, because the moment somebody tries to be a real baby face, people start booing them, or They'll say that you're being corny or cringe or you can't pander as a baby face. It's like, you know, what the fuck do you mean? Stone Cold Steve Austin panders all the time. Give me a hell yeah. That's a pander. You know, you're reaching out for a reaction. You're looking for a reaction. You know, that's pandering, dog. I don't know. It says, does Logan Paul need to go to NXT? No, he's a celebrity. You're not going to put celebrities in NXT. Top Dog, I feel like everyone wants to be an anti-hero, which ruins the babyface. It also ruined the heel. Anti-heroes ruin both sides. The Punisher, if you have, that's the best way to put it. If you have a universe full of Punishers, then how is the Punisher special? And how is any of your heroes different from any of your villains? You know, you need to clear delineation. That's what makes the Punisher stand out. Is that he has this clear delineation of he's willing to go places other people are not willing to go. And that makes him stand out amongst other superheroes. And it makes him special. You can pull off an anti-hero every now and again, but that's that DX, NWO shit. Everybody wants to be in DX and NWO and all that bullshit. It's whack. He says, "How Darren Miles? How come other older generations don't like Gen Z?" That's a good question. Everybody seems to hate millennials, but if you ask me, I think boomers are the real problem. Boomers fucked up the country. They fucking suck with their fucking social security and all that other bullshit. I fucking hate boomers. My mama's a boomer. Speaking of which, my mama's birthday was yesterday, which is what made me do this live stream today because I figured. When I go visit, it might not go too well. I don't want to be around them folks. The Don, who would you want to see The Rock face besides Roman if he returns? Mine is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is going to injure him. Look, Seth is. I love Seth in ring. He's definitely going to be hurting people because that's just how he is, man. You know, so I wouldn't put anybody who's fragile in the ring with Seth Rollins. I wouldn't do that. If the Rock was going to wrestle somebody else, Brock Lesnar, I think that would be tremendous. I think that would be because they haven't had another match. They haven't had a rematch, so that would be great. You know, that would be great. Prince Noctis, sorry, bro. Hopefully this thing will stay up and you'll be able to go back and watch it. I've already been on here longer than I wanted it to. I was only going to do an hour. Now I'm just going to try to finish out as many questions as I possibly could. Park and Hunt, since you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, what are your thoughts on the live action movie and Korra? The live action movie was booty butt cheeks. And everybody knows it. I don't even know why you asked me that question. Everybody knows it was bad. Now, Korra, I have controversial opinions of Korra. Because I actually like the idea. Okay, clearly there needs to be another Avatar since Aang is dead, I think, in the series, right? I think Aang is dead. Or he's old. It's one of the two. No, I'm pretty sure he's dead. I like that Korra started out with all of her powers, 3 of her 4 powers. I like that. And I liked that it seemed that her arc was going to be the opposite of Aang's, where Korra was going to be humbled, where she's super cocky about knowing all of these elements already. So she's super cocky. And then she gets shut down, gets her powers taken away, and she was going to have to rebuild herself. That's what I thought they were going to do. That's a character arc. She's going to have to learn to appreciate what she was gifted with before. But then they gave her powers right back, and she was still a dickhead. I was like, oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. It sucks. WG Phil, yes, I'm doing Q&As from the community post, and I'm reading the ones off the screen, too. So I'm doing both. Somebody says, a horse with no name. I heard that AJ Styles is retiring after his contract is up. I really wish they gave him a Run the Universal title. Me too, because I heard that he was retiring too. This is going to be his last contract, but I think he's going to probably come back as a part timer. I think he's going to definitely come back as a part timer, and he'd probably get treated better as a part timer too. Both him and Ray. I think Ray needs to go part time too. They'll probably get treated better that way. They wouldn't be getting treated like punching bags every fucking week if they did. If they were part time, they would treat them like they're more special. Darren Miles, what are your opinions about shows like Family Guy running too long? I hate Family Guy. South Park, I think those shows they come off of current events, so they tend to run a little bit longer because they use current events for fuel for the show. But shows like Family Guy, The Simpsons, and South Park, South Park is the last bastion of counterculture that we got in the United States. Everything is cut. Especially The Simpsons. Simpsons is so bad off. It's just the shits. But South Park is still biting. They brought Beavis and Butthead back. I haven't watched any of the new stuff. I did watch the movie, but I didn't watch any of the new stuff. But yeah, that stuff used to do cultural critique. They used to make fun of our own celebrities. They used to make fun of celebrity culture. They used to do all kinds of shit they don't do anymore. Now it's all, making fun of people in the middle of the country and all that kind of shit. I'm like, I don't care about that. Wrestling is fantastic. Top 5 wrestlers in WWE right now. From an in-ring perspective, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. If you're counting NXT, Carmelo Hayes. You could easily argue that Carmelo Hayes is probably on the hottest streak of anybody in wrestling, including guys in AEW. You could also make a similar argument for Gunther. Gunther is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. Bruno Sammartino. Speaking of things running too long, do you think the WWE, like actual sports, should have an off season? No, because that's a cultural advantage for them. They need that. They need that advantage. If they start having a season, when are they gonna have the season? They gonna. I mean, part of why they get so much money is because they have that 52-week a year roster thing. They should probably. And I hate to say this because I know AEW's been trying to do it, and we kind of give them hell for it. But they've been trying to rotate their roster, and not have the same people on TV all the time. Oh, this is a bad motherfucker right here. This is nice. I like this. This is dope. And it fits Shinsuke Nakamura, too. I heard the new Beavis and Butthead is good, but I haven't seen it myself. Watch the movie. The movie is very good. The Don, better character, Yamcha or Bardock? I wish they didn't give Bardock special powers. I wish they didn't. Yamcha is a cool character too. He just got dicked around. Like the cast of Dragon Ball got too big, and that's mainly the problem. Is a lot of these guys started to just float around forever, and they refuse to kill them off because they're lovable side characters and friends and stuff. But Yamcha is one of those characters that he probably would be more fondly remembered if he'd have died and stayed dead. Because at a certain point, like in the filler episodes, he's great because he's comparing himself to Vegeta, and he's trying to be like Vegeta and all that kind of stuff, and he tries to go and train at 100 times Earth's gravity, and he can't do it. So it's fantastic, but they never follow up. You just see that Yamcha is kind of a guy who quits, and whenever things get tough, he kind of quits, and it's hard to, but you root for him because you know where he came from. This is not a good picture of Shotzi. It's not her best shot, that's for sure. What's this? Yes, boy. But yeah, I like Bardock. I think the original Bardock is masterful. The original Bardock is tremendous. The Bardock from the movie is great. But unfortunately, they made him into a completely different character in Super. So I'm not really a fan of what they did to him in Super. Brutus Creed. This is Tall Creed, right? Yeah, Tall Creed. Not Short Fat Creed. How would you end South Park or Family Guy? Considering I haven't watched enough of that shit, like South Park is one of those shows that you could probably revamp it just by making the kids older. You know, so you could probably make South Park a whole new, fresh product just by making them teenagers. You know, Family Guy. I think we should just. I don't know. You should probably do very bad things to to the creators so they will go away. Because I'm sick of that shit. I hate fucking Dragon Ball. Fucking Family Guy. I assume you saw the most recent Dragon Ball Super movie. No, I haven't seen it yet. It's a Gohan story, so I do want to see it though. Top Dog, I always felt John Cena got their unfair booking as a babyface after the Attitude Era because they didn't want those types of faces. They wanted the Stone Cold types. That is true, especially once the company decided they were going to go and do PG. Cena was perfect for that because they had already tamped down certain elements of that character. But unfortunately, that's what people wanted. They wanted that shit. Back to Darren Miles from the community post. Would you have pushed Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock in the 2000 WWF? Shamrock, yes. Dan Severn, no. He has no personality whatsoever. He has no personality to speak of. How do you feel about Black Lives Matter scamming people out of money? I think we already talked about that. How would you handle the Montreal screw job? To be quite honest, if I was in a situation where the guy didn't want to do a job, and I wouldn't have lied to him though. I wouldn't have lied to Brett. I'd have told Brett, all right, here's what we're gonna do. You have a modicum of creative control. You're going to create a triple threat match. I think they were doing triple threat matches. They had done at least one by that point in time. Or you would have found some other way to switch the title without him having to lose. Or you would have said, we're going to do a ladder match and we're going to have a bunch of nonsense and Sean's going to pull down the belt and that's going to be it, you know? And you would have tried, I'd have tried in some way to come up with a better idea than fucking him in that way, you know? I wouldn't have wanted to do that to the guy. I definitely wouldn't have wanted to do that. But if he was absolutely positively just refusing to do anything, like he wasn't going to do a ladder match job or anything like that, shit, I don't know, man. Do you think physical media will cease to exist? Nope. Physical media is going to make a comeback because what's happening is these streaming services are starting to change these products. They're starting to delete scenes out of movies. They're starting to delete songs out of movies. They're starting to take people out of movies. They're starting to take characters out of movies. And what they're going to end up doing is making the DVDs and shit like that more valuable. So these things are going to end up making a comeback. I got a closet full of DVDs that are probably going to become collector's items. Especially if people go through these movies and start taking out bad language on the streaming service and stuff like that, you know, because these streaming services are the standards and practices are so tough. Like I still got WrestleMania 7 on DVD, you know, it's in a box set, and they took the Roddy Piper shit out of the Peacock. It's like, oh no, baby. I'm gonna keep that. You think way down the line WWE go out Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame? No, they're not gonna do that. They're not ever gonna do that. What would happen if Bret Hart had stayed in '97? Him and Shawn would have got into another fight. They definitely would have got into another fight. It was inevitable. One of them had to go. I mean, Vince choosing to let Bret go was a wild one though. That was a wild decision. When Frasier got removed from Netflix, I stopped subbing to streaming services. Why would they do that? Why would they take it off? You know, Frasier is one of those shows that's very smart, and I'm surprised that a lot more people don't watch it. Let's see. What is this? Darren Miles. How do you feel about the time when Raw had a celebrity host every week? God, that was awful. I hate remembering like the worst eras of Raw where they had all of these goddamn gimmicks. Um, Kushida. It's a nice looking little Kushida. Who is his opponent? I got. Oh, that's Wesley. That's Wesley in the armbar, y'all. I got a Wesley card. Help me out. I need sustenance. That shit sucks. I hate that celebrity guest host Raw. I also hate the Raw general manager that, that was a laptop. That was stupid. You know, they have really ridiculous ideas. And that laptop thing, it went on forever. And when it finally paid it paid it off like years later. And the payoff wasn't even all that good. It was just hornswoggle under the ring. I'm like, look, man, go fuck your ass. That Jericho would say. Do you think mole culture will make a comeback? Nope. Malls are dead. Malls are done. Malls are not coming back. They can't come back. Amazon, it's only going to be more and more online stuff. Brick and mortar shit is not going to come back. It's not. I think people like going shopping for the reason they still like going to the movies. They just like the actual act of being in a mall. Back to the community post. Would you spend your time with AEW locker room or have friends who act like the characters from Always Sunny in Philadelphia? I love Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They're a little mean to each other, but I love that show. I wouldn't want to know anybody like that. They're incredibly selfish. Those are incredibly selfish characters, and that's really what makes it work. Is those characters are incredibly selfish. Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston. It's a nice looking Kofi. I'm nearing the end of my community post questions. It says, what would happen if Shawn Michaels went to WCW in 1997? He would have got fired by 1998 because he'd have been an absolute ass. He'd have been an absolute ass. I tried to get into subbing into the network, then Peacock thing happened, and Peacock had so much stuff that didn't make sense, make the transfer, plus censorship. I agree. There's a lot of stuff that still isn't up on the on that shit right now. You know, it's sad. Oh yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah. What would be your last meal? Oh shit, you trying to kill me? What the fuck is up with that? I don't want to think about that. Don't put that in my brain. The Dime, Beer Money or the Dirty Dogs? I was never a fan of Beer Money, dog. I was never a fan of Beer Money. I was an AMW guy. Like I always liked AMW. I didn't understand Beer Money. I didn't understand how it worked. I liked Robert Roode. I liked James Storm. That's my favorite feud in TNA history. But as a tag team, I didn't really make it. I wonder if cable TV will make a comeback. It won't. Don't worry about it. It's dead. Cable is dead. They just don't know it yet. Let's see. Back to the community post. WG Phil, what is the best or worst case scenario for AEW's future with Warner Discovery? Though the best case is obviously they get more money, and Warner just tells them to cut down certain things. The worst case scenario is they ask for too much money, and Warner tells them to go fuck their ass, and then out of nowhere they have to find somewhere else to go, and that's going to be very, very hard in today's market. Two, with the decreased morale in the AEW locker room is dealing with, who are the three WWE guys you wouldn't mind Trips bringing back? And three, Trips should not bring back who are in AEW. Well, the three he shouldn't bring back are Hager, Ruby Riott, and why did I say Ruby Riott? I wasn't even thinking about that. That must have been in my heart because I really was not thinking about her. But and CM Punk, fuck Phillip. He could stay in AEW for all I care. If he gets fired from there, he ain't coming back. If he gets fired from AEW, Phil is done. It's over. And to be quite honest, Tony Khan would be stupid to fire him. Yeah, Ronda Rousey. Her blue gi. She was in a blue gi phase. I don't know what that was about. Is this Beth Phoenix? Yeah, Daffy Hager. Yeah, they can keep that monkey ass nigga too. 3. How would you book the first 3 months of Cody's run as world champion if he's going over Roman at Mania? I think, which I don't think you give him. I don't think you give Roman a rematch though. No rematches for Roman. I think you save the rematch probably for SummerSlam. The first 3 months though, uh, that's a good question. Because I used up all my cards, I'm just gonna put my Spider-Man book here. Fuck it. This is a Marvel Masterworks. Steve Ditko, Stan Lee, Spider-Man. This is a book that kind of reprints their original Spider-Man stuff. We're gonna leave this here. No matter of fact, no, we're not. I'm just gonna start grabbing random books off my shelf and putting them here. Sakamoto Days, the manga I've been reading recently. I just randomly picked up one and I really enjoyed it. So I'm on 3 now. Record of Ragnarok is around here somewhere too. What's this? What's this right here? Okay, it's the Punisher. Classic Punisher. All right, we're gonna leave that right there. You ever played Fire Pro Wrestling? No, I did not. Prince Noctis, I don't watch NXT really at all, but how is Mandy Rose as champion? Should the belt go to someone else? Until they're ready for her to do something on the main roster, probably she should keep it for a while. She's been a decent champion, but she's just pretty girl who is, kind of dangerous, kind of mischievous, kind of manipulative. She's basically a generic heel who's very, very hot. That's just kind of how it is. Back to the community post. Well, I didn't book Cody's 3 months. You give him 3 different opponents if you're me. You give him 3 different opponents, 3 high-level opponents though. Like I would have his first opponent be maybe another babyface, maybe a Drew McIntyre or something like that if he's not a turned yet. Then maybe you do Drew once and you give him, they do the big respect thing at the end. Then maybe you double back to Seth Rollins. And I think you do Roman again at SummerSlam or in Saudi or something like that. I don't remember what it would be though. 4. Which methods Trips should keep from Vince and methods he should move away from? How bad would the Trips booking be for you wanting Vince back like Gargano versus Cole for all the titles? God, yes, man. You have to shoot me into the moon. It'll be over with. I think he needs to learn from Vince that not everybody is into so much wrestling and matches being so long. But he does. He got the leg up because of so many years of so much comedy on TV. And people are so tired of that comedy. People are burnt out over all the comedy that's on WrestleMania, on these shows now. Lispers Anonymous, Tony invited Keith Lee, Kenny, and Punk to talk about their grievances over the current booking with Tony announcing Lispers Anonymous. Let's see. This is Tony Khan. So which Tony Khan should we use? Should we use spazzed out Tony Khan or should we use the modern scrum Tony Khan? I'm not going to take this fucking shit. Which Tony Khan are we really going to use here? Let's use modern Tony. Let's use 2022 Tony Khan. And he's gonna. What is he gonna be doing here? He invited Keith Lee, Kenny, and Punk to talk about their grievances over the current booking. All right, guys, Keith Lee, Kenny, CM Punk, you're the greatest wrestlers in the world. I am very interested in hearing your feedback and how we can make AEW better. I mean, I'm still learning and I'm trying to figure it out as we go along. Tony. I appreciate you sparing a modicum of your time with me, but I must say, sir, I saw the most recent scrum, as they call it. Isn't that what the kids are calling it now? And I feel verbally assaulted. Mr. CM Punk was a mouthful of muffins, of which he did not share any. He said some very harsh words about my co-workers, technically my bosses, the EVPs. He said they are not capable of managing a target. It is quite disturbing to me, and I'm very distressed that this locker room perhaps is not well for my health. Mr. Omega, what were your thoughts when when Mr. Punk was making these comments about your cohorts, the Young Bucks? Let's see, the Kenny Omega voice. Keith, I appreciate that. I appreciate all of that you've done for AEW so far. I have to say you are the most phenomenal big man wrestler probably in the history of our business. And I really appreciate the array of talents that you bring to the table. CM Punk he is exactly what we say that he is. He is a punk. I mean, look at him. His face was all red and raccoonish. His hair was so ratty. His hair was so matted and he was so sweaty. He was blown up 5 minutes into the match. He doesn't have the motor that I have. He doesn't have the technical masterpieces that I have. He doesn't have the abilities that I have. Mr. Omega, I understand. Are you saying that this man is jealous of you? Oh, absolutely. I think CM Punk looks at me and he sees a phenomenal athlete who is a superstar in a country like Japan, and they love me over there. Have you noticed, Tony? I am a big superstar in Japan. Kenny Omega is one of the finest wrestlers in the entire world, Keith Lee. Yes, I understand. But what are we going to do about Mr. Punk? Should we sit down, have a conversation with him? Say, perhaps Mr. Punk should go to psychotherapy. Perhaps he's in need of Seroquel. Mr. Punk, all he needs. Wait a minute. I think I'm off base here. I think I'm completely off base here. I think we're completely off base here. I forgot what the fucking thing was about. I started doing a Keith Lee voice and doing a Kenny Omega, and I got completely off base. Wait a minute, what's this? What's the news of the EVP threatening to quit AEW? How would you book their first feud if they would go to WWE? I would not hire the Young Bucks. That's just, I would not hire the Young Bucks. I will not expose the Young Bucks to my audience. That's a bad idea. It is a bad idea. Okay, I would not hire the Young Bucks. Kenny Omega, he's fine. All right, the Young Bucks, no. Hell no. Hell no. I would not hire the Young Bucks at all. Fuck that. Because then with the Young Bucks comes the Meltzer and Alvarez crowd. That shit sucks. You know, it sucks. And WWE doesn't care enough about tag teams for the Young Bucks to really matter in WWE. All right, DeAndre Dukes, he got 8 questions. 1, how do you see AEW looking like by the end of the year? I see it being on fire by the end of the year. I mean, like literally on fire. Like Tony Khan's going to set himself on fire. He's going to probably fire a couple more people. Some more people going to ask for their release. If this Thunder Rosa thing doesn't go the way that everybody thinks it will, she's probably going to get canned. I would fire Thunder Rosa if she's not really hurt and she says she was hurt. 2, what WrestleMania main events would you change? Oh, WrestleMania 18. That's a stupid decision. Whoever told Jericho and Triple H to main event set them up for failure. And I'm guessing it was Triple H. You know, I'm guessing it was Triple H and his ego. I'm the champion. I won the main event. Nah, that was dumb. WrestleMania 2000, that fatal 4-way, stupid. I would not have put Foley or Big Show in that match. It should just be Triple H versus The Rock. They did it the next month. Why didn't you just do it at WrestleMania? That was stupid. WrestleMania 9, Yokozuna versus Bret the Hitman Hart. I probably would have changed that to Hogan and Yokozuna and gave Yokozuna the belt still. And, you know, but they were trying to move away from Hogan too, so it's a different. Maybe could have gave Savage the belt and had Savage lose it to Yokozuna. I don't know, but I definitely wouldn't have did that thing what he did with Hogan. I wouldn't have did that at all. Yeah, that Thunder Rosa thing is very suspicious. It's very suspicious, and it got her off the screen very fast too. 3, the strangest interaction you had with someone in public. Ooh. Uh, Wait a minute. I don't want to get too X-rated out here. Let's try to keep it PG. The strangest interaction I had with somebody in public. Well, I work in a mental hospital, so I have strange interactions with people literally all the time in public. I remember I was just standing around one time. Guy just walked up, started pissing on the floor, like right next to me. And you're not supposed to overreact. I worked in the crisis unit, so you're not supposed to overreact. You don't give them the negative attention that they want. You just kind of step away. I did. I just stepped away. And the crazy thing is, it's water that he's pissing out. I'm guessing it's water. And he's standing there with no socks on. So now his urine is drifting through the floor and it's getting on his feet because he's not wearing socks. And he's just pissing on the floor and now his feet is soaked in piss. And now he's going to walk the fucking halls with his feet soaked in piss. It's very strange. It's very, I'm telling you, man, it's very weird. So now that you're saying this, why don't you ever do story time videos? Man, that's a cheat code. I can do that shit all day. I just challenge myself by doing this kind of shit. And it's crazy, man. I've seen people do some of the foulest, most insane shit possible. I've seen dudes smear shit on the walls. But now you talking about in public. Me and my friend was drunk downtown once. We was just hollering at chicks. We was just talking to chicks. And we was just drunk walking around. This was back when we was like late teens. We go up to a bar. There's this chick who was sitting with the door open to her car. So we go around and she's pissing on the curb. And I wasn't paying attention. But my boy, he was just walked up to her and was trying to talk to her. And she hopped up and pulled her panties up. And he was like, oh, wait a minute. You was just pissing on the curb? Like, just random. Had the door open to the car on the passenger side. And she's pissing on the curb. And he just walked up to her and interrupted. I'm like, we also had a situation where we got licked by these chicks, and that was weird. That was a weird one. We got licked by a couple of girls. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that one. I'll save that story for another time. What was this? If you were president, what is your first order of business? Abolishing various government agencies like the ATF, the IRS, FBI. I'll just pull their funding. Fuck them. I'll just pull their funding. Fuck them. Name some of your favorite fighting styles. Jiu-jitsu is very boring. It's very boring to watch. Kickboxing is fun to watch. You know, kickboxing is fun. If you can catch kickboxing on TV, it's not, you don't see it that often, but it's very fun to watch. So I like watching kickboxing. I actually like doing kickboxing too. It's not bad. 6, what more do you expect Triple H to change now that he's in charge? I think he's going to rename some pay-per-views too eventually. I think he's going to change some of the pay-per-view titles, probably to something cooler. This guy's younger than Vince, and he's got this metalhead kind of, thing going on. I also think they're going to move away from the hip hop so much too, because Vince was trying to be hip with the hip hop and all the rappers and shit. Like Triple H was doing that, but he had Poppy, right? He had Poppy everywhere when he was doing NXT Black and Gold, and then NXT 2.0 is like rap everywhere. Alto Johnson, what's your favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie? Bloodsport. Period. Best bad movie of all time. Bloodsport is a shitty movie, but it's fucking awesome. Time Cop, I think, is also pretty good. Universal Soldier. I like Universal Soldier. I like the concept of Universal Soldier. I don't know if I like the execution as much, but I do love the Universal Soldier concept. I love it. Let's see, what's this? What year would you go back to relive all over again? Oh God. Maybe 1996. Maybe 1996. Why? I was 12. I I was learning a lot of things. Like I was just really getting into rap music, um, and I was having fun with my friends. Man, those were good days. Alto Johnson has some more questions. How would you rank some of the rappers turned into actors from best to worst? Examples: Will Smith, Ice-T, Ice Cube, Queen Latifah, Ludacris, Nas, DMX, LL Cool J, Ja Rule, Tupac, Tretch, Marky Mark, Mos Def, Sticky Fingers, 50 Cent, etc. I think the best. That's a tough one. I guess Will Smith would technically be the best, wouldn't he? Um, that would be. Yeah, I'm not into that Slipknot shit either, but it kind of fits wrestling sometimes. It depends on the era. Sometimes rap, if it's not hard enough, like they got NXT 2.0. The theme is fucking Wale. I'm like, Wale is not fucking cool. I know that they think Wale is cool. Wale is not cool. So I don't know. If it was I don't know who is cool, but I wouldn't use modern rap anyway. It'd probably have to be somebody from the past. Like DMX was like NXT. Y'all been eating long enough now. That should be wild. What's my name? NXT 2.0. X gonna give it to you. That'll be dope. But the worst is easily Nas. Nas is the worst. Well, Raekwon is the worst too. I don't know if you saw that movie Raekwon was in, but it was the shits. He is the shits as an actor. He's not good. But Nas was the worst part of Belly, and Belly is a classic. DMX is sort of a mid tier. As long as the character is fairly close to him, he can do that. Queen Latifah is quite good. Ludacris. I saw him on Law and Order SVU. He was good there, but I haven't seen anything else that he did. Sticky Fingers, I saw him in Friday. Was it Friday After Next? I think I've seen him in some other stuff too, but I don't know. I was never a big fan of Tupac acting, but he was very good in Juice, and he was very good in Above the Rim. He was very good in both of those movies. Those movies felt natural to him. Marky Mark, that'd be Mark Wahlberg. I liked The Departed. He's very good in that. But I really don't pay attention to Mark Wahlberg too much. He was good in the other guys too. When he was with Will Ferrell, that was pretty good. 50 Cent, nah, I'm good on 50 Cent. I never seen anything with Ja Rule in it. LL Cool J is a good actor. In Too Deep, he was tremendous in that. You ain't no cop, J. Reed. Nas was mad weak in Belly, man. He was awful, bro. Hey, he was awful. He was not a good actor. He was not good. I need to watch Belly again, though. I ain't seen Belly in forever, but Nas is not good. Yeah, next Friday with Sticky Fingers. Okay, yeah. It's just I haven't seen anything else from him. I know he was Blade from the TV show. They did a TV show for Blade, and I know Sticky Fingers was Blade, but I never seen it. I was gonna get the box set so I could watch it, but I was like, no. I'll probably just find it online somewhere. Ooh, we've been in this thing 2 hours. What if Eddie Kingston was a rapper? What do you mean? Eddie Kingston is a rapper. What are you talking about? He's from New York. What do you mean? What do you mean? Everything about Eddie Kingston is rap. Everything about him is hip hop 100%. You ain't no cop, J. Reed. Yeah, he is. God damn it. He was missing on purpose. Omar Epps. Broke my fucking heart when he went to Broadway and started doing that weird shit. I can't stand the fucking guy. I ain't seen nothing else with him in it. Yeah, Eddie Kingston, if he was a rapper today, they'd cancel him. Straight up, he'd be like toxic masculinity. But he also kind of soft and very understanding and all that bullshit too. I don't understand how he fits in that locker room. I don't understand how motherfuckers like Hangman Page can be in the locker room with Eddie Kingston. I don't understand how that works. Fuck, are you serious? Look at this guy. Look at him. He's wearing rainbows all over the place. He's a school teacher. He ain't no fighter. He ain't been in no fights. You know, like I can't believe this shit. I can't believe that guy's in the locker room with Eddie Kingston. I can't believe it. I can't believe it at all. It's ridiculous, man. I got paper everywhere. I got shit everywhere, man. I just can't believe that Eddie Kingston and Hangman Page are in the same locker room. It's like I don't understand how you get that, how you manage to make that work. But I'm actually very proud of Eddie Kingston, man. He usually fucks up the bag, but he ain't fucked it up yet. He's trying. He's trying hard because he's a natural fuck up, but he ain't fucked it up yet. He almost got it there though. He almost got it there. He's almost got it there, but it's okay. All right. Any more questions? Because we got 2 hours here. This has actually been a very successful first stream. I was not expecting it to be first single burgers and fries made me cry. Oh shit. With Faith Evans on the hook or some shit. Jesus Christ, what the hell? Who's a better character, Doctor Doom or the Joker? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. Doctor Doom is basically petty as fuck. That's really his whole thing. He's petty and he's jealous. The Joker is chaos, personified. He does things for his own entertainment. Doom isn't really entertained by chaos. He's not chaotic. He just thinks he has a better way. That's the thing. He thinks he's superior, that his way is better, and he wants to be smarter and more famous than Mr. Fantastic. I mean, it's simple. Fuck Mr. Fantastic. I'm smarter and better than him. I want better bitches than his. I run a country. He doesn't even run his own household. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I love Dr. Doom though. Like especially if you read the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby Dr. Doom, it's tremendous. So that's phenomenal shit. Any more questions? Hangman is probably doing for the culture. Oh fuck! You mean the black GCW show? Oh man, they need to invite Eddie Kingston to that joint. He still got Black Lives Matter in his bio. Weirdo. For the culture, y'all. Let me in there. What up, my people? Let me in there. See, why Jean-Claude Van Damme never get the same appreciation as Arnold and Sly? That's a good question. I think it's probably because of his accent. Now, I know Arnold has the accent too, and it makes him hard to understand. But Jean-Claude Van Damme also picked shitty movies to do. Like, Arnold was a part of really good movies. Sly was part of really good movies. Jean-Claude Van Damme was not a part of really, really good movies. Not any. I can't think of every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie is bad, but it has enough good elements in it that makes it watchable. Like Time Cop. It's a bad movie, but it's fun to watch. Bloodsport, bad movie, fun to watch. Universal Soldier, bad movie, fun to watch. But Predator is legit a good movie. I mean, Terminator, legit good movie. Rambo, yes, legit good movies. Rocky is a legit good movie. I can't think of anything that Jean-Claude Van Damme did that was legitimately good. He just came across as white boy ninja. It was what it was. Thoughts on Raw Underground. I liked it better when it was Bloodsport. The Don. Could you see Will Ospreay in WWE with that attitude? Hell no. Nuh-uh. Hell no. Will Ospreay has such a high opinion of himself. Hell, they eat him alive in WWE. They will eat him alive in WWE. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, he be washing dishes and all kinds of shit in WWE. Shinsuke Nakamura, we got him. AJ Styles, I'm not sure of yet. Seth Rollins, Kairi Sane, Charlotte, Tommaso Ciampa. Yep. Let's see. Let's see over here. Randy Orton, got that. Yeah, we got Randy Orton. I was when I started doing the trading card thing, it was a version of a treasure hunt. And basically I was writing down names of wrestlers who I didn't have cards of before and that I wanted cards of. And this is the original list. I started doing this a long time ago. And I still have it because I haven't completed it yet. So these are still some wrestlers I don't have cards of. And this is from 2020. So some of these people, like Kyrie saying, not even in the company anymore. You know. What are your thoughts on the Punisher movie from 1980s with Dolph Lundgren? I haven't watched that yet. I haven't seen it yet. That's the one Punisher movie I haven't seen yet. But I've seen the other ones though. Punisher Warzone is very good. I don't care what people think. Punisher Warzone is very good. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's the most accurate Punisher movie. It's just very cartoonish. Very cartoonish. It's ridiculously cartoonish. That guy getting hit with a missile while he's doing parkour is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but it's a comic book movie, so you can be ridiculous. You know, like who cares about accuracy at that point? And they were playing it up. They played it up hard. All right, y'all. So I appreciate everybody for coming out, man. Thank you guys for your time. I feel like this was very successful. Like the video. Hopefully you guys get some entertainment out of it as we go back. May do these things more often. I actually doesn't mind the live streaming. I just need something to do on the screen or something like that. Maybe I'll come up with a logo or something when I don't have anything particularly to talk about or any cards or anything to unbox. But thank you guys for your time. I'll talk to you guys later, man. I'm going to put up a regular SmackDown review tomorrow. And I don't know what else is it going to be. Oh, but yeah, we're going to be talking about Trigun. I'm going to break up the monotony of wrestling. And we're going to talk about the anime Trigun probably Sunday. I'm going to put up a video on Trigun. And I'm going to try to do one anime a week just so we can not talk about wrestling so much. Because I like broadening the horizons of this channel. That's what's a good thing about the Q&As is we get to talk about things like Dragon Ball and Avatar and stuff like that. We get to break up some of the monotony. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.